There's probably no more important change in the criminal justice system over the last 15 years than the emphasis on reentry. Prosecutors throughout the country have begun to join defense lawyers and judges in the recognition that the system that we essentially have used for years and years and years, which is we lock people up, we really don't do very much for them while they're locked up, we release them, they commit additional crimes, we lock them up again, and the same thing goes on and on. It's basically like a merry-go-round. It never ends. And the result of it is we have too many people who are victims of crime who don't need to be victims. That is, if we could stop this endless cycle of recidivism, we could guarantee that there would not only be less crimes, there would be fewer victims. And so over the last 15 years, particularly the last 10, we've had an emphasis on reentry. That is, how do we get people who are returning citizens to their communities to become productive, law-abiding, wage-earning, tax-paying citizens? And what we discovered is that one of the barriers is collateral consequences. That is, they come out of jail or prison, they try to get a job, and they either find that they're barred by law or regulation from pursuing an occupation, or that even if they're not, employers won't hire them. And if we, I should say, what we have done is the National Institute of Justice realized that one of the things we didn't know is how many barriers legally are there? I mean, how many statutes and regulations out there stand in the way of people getting jobs, getting housing, getting education? So the National Institute of Justice gave a grant to the American Bar Association Criminal Justice Section to prepare what is now the National Inventory of Collateral Consequences of Adult Convictions. That inventory was intended to, and has, compiled all of the collateral consequences in the 50 states and in most of the United States territories. And in one place you can find all of the barriers that legislatures and administrative agencies have placed in the way of returning citizens, people who have paid their dues and want to become productive members of society. What we have learned is that after people pay a fine, and after they serve a jail or a prison sentence, and they think they've paid their dues, they actually face a lifetime punishment. And the lifetime punishment in many places is the collateral consequence of conviction. There are many, probably no one, I suspect, in any state could list them all without looking at our inventory. They get added to over time. A crime is committed and the legislature responds to it in a knee-jerk way by saying, let's prevent somebody who committed that crime from having this kind of job. And the end result is that it is very difficult for many returning citizens to find employment, to get decent housing, to finish their education. And what is the result of that? The result of that is too many return to crime. There's too much recidivism, that reentry fails, not because the will isn't there, but because the way isn't there. And that the goal of the project the ABA has undertaken is to get the lawmakers, the legislatures, the agencies to take another look and to ask, do you really need to have lifetime bans on these returning citizens from receiving public benefits? Or is it better to tailor the disqualifications to situations where they're really needed? No one, for example, wants a child molester to be employed in a daycare center. It's too risky. No one wants a child molester to be working as a babysitter in private homes. But we have to have that child molester, once he or she has paid dues, have a chance to earn a living, or what is the alternative? They will commit crime. There'll be more victims. And not everyone is a child molester. There are people who commit minor offenses. We have so many crimes in America. And some prosecutors have said that if you followed somebody around, any individual, followed them around for a day or two or three, you could probably find some offense to charge them with and probably could convict them. We have too many people in the United States with criminal records. We need to recognize that, and we need to limit collateral consequences of conviction to those that are necessary for public safety and eliminate those that are needless barriers to people trying to become productive members of their communities.